Hey everybody, welcome to Fire in the Hall. Trying to keep the volume level up. So it's been a hell of a trip. A Hamilton Heatwave Hotsauce Expo. Just incredible. Had an amazing time. Met all kinds of amazing people. Tasted a whole bunch of incredible sauces. Lit up a whole bunch of people too at Heiko's table. I just love to volunteer like that and to put my 2 cents forth. So lots of great things happened. On the way, on the day after, we stuck around for a couple of days around Hamilton, and we hit up a chili farm. And man, I will tell you that any chili head that I know, because I said to Heiko, we were in there, and I said, my mouth is literally hanging open. I caught myself standing there slack-jawed, literally with my mouth hanging open. Never seen anything like it. The pod plants were over 6 feet tall, probably 6.5 maybe. I don't think 7, but they were taller than me, which is insane. They were in like cord strings from the floor to the ceiling, and so everything has stakes, or nothing can really fall down, right? And the pods were just phenomenal. I've never seen so many pods. Beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous pods on these just amazing growing plants. So that was the first thing. I texted everyone I know and said, Heiko took me to Disneyland, and there was just an amazing selection of pods, which I have a bunch to review. I got some big mustard mamas, I got some lemon ahis, and of course I still have that peach reaper that I'm terrified to take a bite out of. But I tasted one of the big mustard mamas last night when we got finally done for the end of the day, and it was going down to -15 in Toronto or something insane, and so we had to bring all the pods into the room from the van. We couldn't leave them in the van overnight. They would have frosted. They would have been spoiled, and so there was a guy and a girl in a car having a cigarette when we backed up to our patio door, and we just loaded out like 50 cases of pods. And I said to Heiko after, I can only imagine what was going through these people's heads, thinking, what in the hell is going on inside that hotel room? What are they going to do in there? It was just killing me. And all right, so we stopped a few places. We stopped the wholesale, get supplies, because Heiko's going to have to be making a lot of sauces for the next few months. I think he's booked solid. There's I think we planted a lot of sturdy seeds on the weekend. But so Heiko has this habit, this ability to exactly know what I'm going to like precisely. He'll say, you're going to like this, and invariably I really like it. So he bought me that Caribbean Scorpion from Westland Peppers. Please, Leo, don't step on the keyboard anywhere but there, right? Okay, over here. Here, somebody's glad to see me. It's funny, Heiko sent me a picture of his cat Shadow, aptly named. That he said, somebody's glad to see me because we've been away for a few days. I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. My cats aren't acting silly at all, right? So we're at the wholesale, and he says, this is for you. He puts this on the cart and he says, this is for you. And I say, okay. So here, we'll get a good look at that. Cherry peppers from Aurora. Okay, pickled. It's supposed to be hot, it says. Pickled, hot pickled. Pepperoni picante? And so I thought, okay, whatever. It doesn't look like my kind of pepper, but I'm crazy about pickled peppers. Pepperoncini was probably the first thing I ever got really in the habit of eating that was spicy. At the campsite where I spent all my summers as a kid, there was these people from Naples that used to come, and we'd all sit around the fireplace, and we'd pass the pepperoncini jar around the fireplace, and everybody would eat one and try and not have fire coming out of their ears, and it's very respectable. That's the little pickled pepper that they'll put beside a sandwich, usually as a garnish, or beside a big sub sandwich or a big submarine or whatever. And so I love those. But then one day I saw these ones at the grocery store. These California pickled hot chili peppers. Now, the ones that you see here aren't actually them, but they're pretty close. These ones are from my Mexican pot. I boiled vinegar and used the brine. I used the brine that came from these, and I boil it again, and I put a whole bunch of my pods in. And it's been sitting. I want to make sure that they're pickled lovely, but There's a few of the original pot. No, there isn't. I finished them before I restocked the bottle. But I love pods. Love pods. I find these Mexican or the California ones actually are a little spicier than the original pepperoncinis. That's why I kind of like them a little better right now. So years ago, and I can remember doing this a lot of times. We used to get hot mixed pickles by Bix, and they had sliced carrots and sliced cauliflower. And oh, hello, Squishy. Wow, the gang's all here. Not missing me at all while I've been away. So they had all these hot mixed pickles, and there was bread and butter, like zigzag cut, like and a few other things. There was a random array of all these hot mixed pickles. It was a little spicy too, there's no doubt about it. But in every one big jar of these mixed pickles, there's one of these puppies. And I never ate one because I thought it was a tomato. And I can't do tomatoes at all. And so I never even tried. I never even. But it was, the rumor was that was the hottest thing in the jar, and so most people wouldn't go there anyway. But if I had known that it wasn't a tomato, I might have jumped in. So I pull one out and I say, "Oh, this is one of those things. How did I never know that?" And I cut it in half just to see what it looks like inside. Well, the seed sac is nearly as big as the pod. The pod's as big as a golf ball, and there's so many seeds. This is the remains of the one I cut open earlier. I halved it, and then I just scraped out all the seeds. I asked Heiko, maybe anyone knows the answer to that question. Are pickled pod seeds viable? Heiko said, probably not. I said, I probably agree. So, these, I'm going to grab a smallish one here, because I'm just going to hork it down. I'm not even going to bother cutting it in half. Nothing like that. So these pods, you'll see it's a little drippy. It just came out of the brine. But they are just a beautiful, gorgeous pod. Cherry pepper. Some of them are a little wrinkly, look a little old in the brine, whatever. But I was absolutely amazed. They're drippy drip. Absolutely amazed at the flavor of these guys. So, thank my friend Heiko for one of the best road trips I think I probably ever had in my life. I want to thank all the vendors at Heatwave Hotsauce Expo. And I want to see all of you in Ottawa for heating up the capital in May, right? And so, fire in the hole. It popped. Squirted my arm. Now the heat, I wouldn't say the heat is worse than maybe a little stiffer than pepperoncini. As my wife says, I'm not to be trusted. So maybe these just aren't that hot to me anymore because I've been eating fresh pods all summer. But I'll tell you, seeds and all, no problem. I'll eat the whole seed sack of any pickled pepper. I do not like eating raw fresh seed sacks. I don't like it. It's like trying to chew up wood almost. I don't like the consistency of the seeds, and there's really no reason to eat them anyway. Unless you're trying to propagate, you got an outhouse out back. Anyways, went through quite a bit of apple juice on the weekend. I screwed up my shoulder, so I was kind of a little stay puttish for most of the weekend, but so I wore a sling for the three and a half days, and then the day of the expo, Heiko wrapped my arm with a tensor bandage, like super tight. It felt so good, and it felt like my shoulder's supposed to feel. It shouldn't feel saggy. It should feel locked in, and that was perfect because I could actually do stuff. I didn't have my arm like glued to my belly, and so that was pretty awesome. And then so Heiko's birthday was the day after that, and then we stayed one more night and went to see Tool last night. And oh, Leo, you're gonna have to give me a precious second here, buddy. The Tool shirt, of course, they got a new sleeve design now for this current tour, for the Fear Lateralis tour. It used to look a little different, but it's still there. That's your seal of authenticity. And this was a kind of a wraparound shirt that I kind of never seen before. It kind of went around the side. The prices of merch are staggering. I have no idea how they can get away with that, but at least one sucker paid $55 for a t-shirt, and I saw a lot of people forking out $85 and $95 for hoodies and long sleeves, and it boggled my mind. $40, I was okay. 40 was still steep, but I didn't hate it as much as 55, that's for sure. I didn't get a cheap shirt either. It wasn't more expensive, but they're all about the same. So you got the entity there, the good and bad entity, the dark and light entity, and absolutely nothing on the back, which for me is the ultimate sin, because I normally like to have all the dates. I want to have the date of the show. Thank you, Leo. That was pretty sneaky there, chum. Wow. Slippery as a worm. Anyways, I want to do something for the channel, because I was supposed to have eaten... Oh my goodness, I should have looked this up first. There was... I went to buy a Pocky chip. I went to Slim's, and because they were selling Pocky chips, and I said, okay, I'll be back. And I just didn't think... I thought they got a box of them or whatever. And then by the time I got back there, they were all gone. I said, oh, crap. Because I really wanted to do a Pocky chip. So, Heiko went walkabout, and he came back and said... I had a piece of this thing, and it's way hotter than a Pocky chip. So I just want to make sure I get the name right here. And then I left it in the van, so I couldn't do it tonight. That's what I wanted to do tonight, was to review that chip. There it is. Did the square chip survive in one piece? Also, what table was that from? He said almost in one piece, and then he showed a picture. It was the box. It came in like a clear plastic square box, and it got crunched in one corner, so the chip got cracked in a little bit. And it was from Jargon Preserves. So I can't wait to eat this thing. It's way hotter than a Pocky. I'm gonna be in for it for sure. I gotta say the heat on the cherry pepper right now is lingering very nicely, very nicely. It's not painful. But it's just right. And the apple juice. It's just really good. I want to thank Hank. Where did that come from? I want to thank Hank over. And then I do it again. This is good apple juice. I want to thank Heiko again for getting me hooked on something that is going to be a bastard to obtain. Thankfully, I know a guy, and I can't believe we get along like peas in a pod. It's really fun. It's almost as if we were born together, like we grew up together. It was like we spent our whole lives together. We finish each other's sentences, and it's just funny. And especially when he says, hey, I think you're gonna like this, and he goes, oh my god, this is the most amazing thing I've ever had, right? I try to do that with music for him, but he's doing that for me with pods and sauces. And so yeah, I'll cut it at 15. I want to yammer on some more, because that was a hell of a... The Tool show was off the chain. It was probably the best Tool show I've seen, I would think. The production was unrivaled, like just unbelievable. And the sound was incredible. And the thing that I came away with this time was that Primus, cheers. Oh, shout out to, I was wearing my Primus hoodie, and so many people said, Primus hoodie, that's a wicked Primus hoodie, Primus sucks. And it was all good. I couldn't believe how much recognition my old hoodie got from the Chocolate Factory tour. One more second. Yeah, Tool, when they finish their songs, they finish harder than anyone else. That's they climax right at the end of the song. It finishes like a bomb blast. It's not like they make a song that goes up and then it comes back down. It's like they ramp up and ramp up until it's a nuclear bomb. And it was what got me hooked on them in the first place. And I remember I went to see Tool the first Lateralis tour. I went to see Tour, and was supposed to be Phantoma's opening, and they didn't end up coming across, so we got Meshuggah instead, which everybody goes, Meshuggah, are you insane? What? And I was too ticked off to enjoy the show. So the second Lateralis tour, they came with Tomahawk, and for me that was almost orgasmic. And the only reason I bought the first Tool ticket was to see Phantomas. I hadn't yet become a Tool fan. And then the second time I was kind of like, well, I don't mind seeing Tool again. That was a pretty good show. Still not a fan much. And so Tomahawk opened, and that was incredible. Still one of my favorite shirts too, the Tomahawk original, the brown with the orange logo that says "Put on the mask and dance for Daddy." One of my all-time favorite shirts, but it's got some pit holes starting to. It won't last forever, but. That Tool tour, there was Schism. At the end of Schism, just exploded my brain. I came out of there like with literally like brains oozing out of my ears, right? And I said to my buddy Pat right away, who I saw last night in Toronto, because he always comes if it's close, and from Rochester, in a snowstorm in Toronto. It was brutal. It was ridiculous in Toronto last couple of days, and here in Ottawa also, as I found out, like even worse here. So my buddy Pat, he comes to the show, and it was really cool to see. It's almost like it's a recurring. It's almost like deja vu in a sense. You bump into old buddies and stuff. Fantastic. But I remember saying to him after the show, "What the hell was that song? That one that finishes like a bomb blast, like the one that blew my head off at the end." He goes, "I don't know. Listen to the songs, right?" And it took me a while, but I found the one. I was like, "That's the one." And the End of Schism, when they do the End of Schism live, it is just, it's visceral. It gets inside your bones, right? And so last night I noticed that all the songs now, just about all the songs they do, just finish so hard, and we had a great time. I wish they'd played The Pot, though. That was Heiko's favorite song. I was really hoping they were going to play it for him, but not this time. So maybe at a future date, hopefully. And I want to thank everyone at Hamilton Heatwave Hotsauce Expo. There were so many great people. I met so many great people. So hospitable. Everybody punching up everyone in the community, and nobody punching down. Nobody, it wasn't like a competition. I loved it. It was like everybody was working together to share the love. And again, to finish, hashtag not rambling, I want to thank Heiko, because that was really something else. I'll cherish that moment for the rest of my. I'll cherish that 4-day peak for the rest of my life, because that was a truly great road trip and a truly great friend. Cheers.